Hello, and welcome to the Third Sector. I'm your host, Tamara Brinkman. In our society, there are three sectors: the public, the private, and the nonprofit. And it's that third sector that we are here to talk about today. My guests today are Val Ray and Sabrina Pennington from Ivy Tech, specifically here to talk to us today about Ivy Cares. So welcome, Val and Sabrina. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Tamara. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to talk about a great program we have at the college.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, to that end, tell us a little bit about what Ivy Cares is. It's a nonprofit program within the college, and I'm going to let you take it away from there and give us the history from when it started to where we're at today.
Sure. Well, first of all, Ivy Cares really is a service to our students that is really under the Ivy Tech College umbrella, but it is fully funded by donations, grants, and which is through the Ivy Tech Foundation. And so, which is who I work for. I'm the executive director of the foundation for the college. And Ivy Cares was created, it was in 2017, and it was a grassroots initiative started by a caring faculty member who recognized a substantial need among her students. But very, very quickly, we determined that there was great need among all of our students, and we quickly embraced the supportive services, came up with the name of Ivy Cares, and because that's what Ivy Tech does. We have Ivy in front of every program that we have at Ivy Tech. And before I tell you a little bit more about it, it's become so successful. The statewide college system has embraced this service to our students, and they have an Ivy Cares on every campus throughout the state. So we're really, really proud of that. In fact, out of all the years, and I think Sabrina would say, I think she would say the same thing. I don't want to talk for her, but for me personally, I've worked at the campus for a number of years, and I would say the Ivy Cares program has demonstrated the most impact for our students and their success in completing their courses than any program that I've ever experienced or have witnessed at the college. So basically, if I may share what it really is, the goal of Ivy Cares is to work with students to ensure that they remain in class and successfully complete their classes. And what we are finding, because we talk about the great need, our students, a lot of us students who live in poverty, I call it, they're like one flat tire away of withdrawing or dropping out of classes and not returning. It takes that one emergency that they'll throw up their hands, and their education may be the first thing that they set aside. Yeah. And from food insecurities, from a utility bill, from childcare, transportation issues, I mean, the list goes on. And so we were quickly learning that if we could keep that student to keep them in class, to help them get over that emergency hump, and have a department that works with that student along the way and connect them with external resources if we find that they have a continuing need, then this is the right thing for us to do. Mm-hmm. And I'll let Sabrina talk a little bit about how the program works, but I can share that we have been averaging a 90% retention rate of all the students that we serve in Ivy Cares, to keep them continuing in class and successfully completing their class. So that's why it's just imperative that the Ivy Tech Foundation continues their work in raising donor dollars to help these students meet their educational objective.
Such important work that you guys are doing, and what a very important program to support folks that are trying to further their education and have an opportunity that those things that could be those barriers that, as you said, maybe they're one flat tire away from, that's the end of it. it's so important that this is there for them. So, so I'll turn it over to Sabrina and let her jump in.
Okay. As Val said, this is one of the best programs that I've ever worked in. I've been in higher ed for more than 30 years, and this program is just phenomenal. It's great how people have contributed to help our students be successful. So the way that we set this program up is that we do utilize we have a human services program on our campus, students. And so we use students as interns to run the program. Now, me and my assistant, we oversee them. But they meet with the students. So students are referred to the program from multiple places. Many times, and most of the time, is from faculty, because they see them every day, and they see when students change in their behavior. Like if they've been doing their work really well, and then all of a sudden it stops, then they might just say something going on, and they get something, and they'll refer them. So we like using the students because students will talk to students. And so the human services students who serve as interns will interview the students, and we fill out the forms and all that. And they determine what we might provide for this student. We have found, and especially now during the pandemic, we really haven't been able to use our interns. But when we do, the students really tell them what they need. And as Val has said, we have found out that this has helped retain students who are about to leave. And I'll give you for instance, a very, very pretty recent one. We have a student, a young lady who we discovered that she was homeless. She was doing really well in her classes, doing very well in her classes. And then things started going really weird. And then we found out that she was homeless. She was really living in her car. Oh. So she had a cell phone. Thank God for these cell phones.
Yeah.
And we were able to communicate with her, and also through her class, because she was going to class. And she got referred to the program, and we were able to work with her and work with a local place that lets people live there, like an apartment complex, and work with them to secure her a place to live. So what Ivy Cares did was interact with the company and paid her first month's rent, her deposit, and then whatever utilities needed to be paid as a deposit to get her off the street and in a home. And that happened. And so now she continues and can focus on her work. Val had mentioned we do lots of things, unbelievable things. And one might say, gee, do you just give students money? Well, we don't, not through Ivy Cares. Students have gotten money because of the CARES Act, which is separate. But with Ivy Cares, we don't. We pay the vendor. And we've also had another instance of a student who was having multiple car issues and couldn't get to where she needed to be, was didn't have as much food in her home as she needed to have, needed some help with gas, needed all that. We were able to help her, and she has since moved on, finished from the college, completed, graduated, and has even given back to the foundation, which is just awesome to me. You know, we ask them for thank you notes, but when they turn around and get themselves on steady feet and give back monetarily to the college to focus on, especially the program that helped them, I just can't. There's just not words. It's just it's a wonderful program, and a pleasure to be able to have to interact with that program, work with that program, and help students in such a way.
Well, yes, certainly your enthusiasm is very expressive of the good work that program is doing, and I think it's so wonderful to hear about that the students are interns, you know, under normal circumstances, because it does make sense that the students would connect, you know, better with students, people their own age, and might be more transparent and open about all their true needs. And that success rate is just something to be so proud of. I mean, 90% retention by just removing some barriers. It just does go to show that without that, there'd be a lot of kiddos and people in the community that wouldn't be, able to complete their courses and get their certificates or AA degrees, or moving on to get their bachelor's or next steps as they go. So,
yes. We do have a second component of the program that we sometimes use of second year interns to facilitate, and that is because as one would expect, we do need to have a financial literacy part of the program, just to try and help students understand how to not get in that situation again, even when you don't have anything. It's amazing how people who have figured this out can work and make it. And so they work as sort of like coaches or financial coaches or life coaches to talk to students a little bit deeper about how they might not end up in these emergency situations.
Right. So up on our screen, for anybody that's interested in the Ivy Tech Foundation, is their giving.ivytech.edu. And Val and Sabrina, they can go to this website if they're interested in learning more about the program.
Well, that site is really more if they're interested in making a charitable contribution.
Very important.
To the Ivy Tech Foundation on behalf of Ivy Cares.
Okay.
So that's the link for that. If they are interested in learning more about the program, anybody is welcome to contact me, and I can give them my number. My number. It's not 765-966-2656, and my extension is 2348, or just ask for me.
Okay.
Or they can email me at vray@ivytech.edu. And I would be happy to talk with them about more of the program.
Ah, that's wonderful. Well, that's going to wrap us up for this segment today. I want to thank both Val Ray and Sabrina Pennington for joining me today and sharing with the community the great work that your program does. When we come back, Jennifer Feaster from the Kiwanis Club, president of the Kiwanis Club, is going to join me. So stay tuned and come on back. Welcome back. Joining me now is Jennifer Feaster, who is going to talk about Kiwanis. She is the current president of Kiwanis Richmond. There's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining me today.
Hello. Happy to be here. Very excited.
Well, we're thrilled that you agreed to come on the Third Sector and share with us today about Kiwanis of Richmond. You're currently the president, so tell us about it. How long has Kiwanis been around, and what is it that you guys do?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me. I'm very excited to be here. The Kiwanis Club of Richmond has actually been around for 100 years. Our club was the 300th club that opened up after Kiwanis International opened in 1915. So 5.5 years after Kiwanis International was founded, our club started up, and we've just been going strong ever since. A little history of the club: it started with about 100 businessmen from downtown Richmond, and they would get together every week and talk about what they could do as an organization for the community and how they could help out the community and do service projects. And over the years, they've grown into several other clubs. They've started other clubs around our area, including a Connorsville club, a Golden K club. There was actually a Rose City club when Richmond used to be known as the Rose City. So that's how we got our Richmond Noon Kiwanis name for a little bit. But that's a little history. We've been going strong ever since. We still have the same kind of mission that we've always had, and that is to improve the community by making a positive impact in the lives of its citizens. So our club focuses on how we can help others and help other nonprofits and really support kids in our community. We are kid focused. We've worked with Riley Children's Hospital for many, many years and support them. So that's what our efforts do every single year.
Well, that's great news to hear about what Kiwanis is up to, and certainly the longevity of that organization to have a footprint here in this community. Tell us a bit more about the impact the work has had on the community over the years.
Absolutely. So we do have a foundation now, the Kiwanis Club of Richmond Foundation, and that foundation has allowed us to continue our fundraising efforts. Every year we hold several fundraisers, and all of those funds raise money for us to give out in our grant cycles to support other nonprofits, other organizations. We give out some youth scholarships as well. We support our flagship project, which is Safety Village of Wayne County, which a lot of people might not know what Safety Village is, but Wayne County is very unique in having their own kind of mock village. It's a smaller size community where they bring kids in throughout the year, first through third graders, and they do fire safety in the safety house. They go through and learn traffic safety, normal pedestrian safety. We do lots of events throughout the year at Safety Village, including a trick or treat, and there's even bike safety and some helmet giveaways and things like that. So the impact in the community is really supporting these other organizations. Last year we had 25 nonprofit organizations that applied for grants, and we gave over $40,000 to those nonprofit organizations to support their work and what they do. And this year so far, we've already given out 10 grants in our first spring cycle, and that totaled just over $13,000. So we have another grant cycle coming up in the fall, and we'll give out another close to $15,000 to support more organizations within the community.
Okay, well, that's those are great opportunities for organizations to keep in mind for potential opportunities to receive funding if the work that they do aligns with the areas that you guys are looking to support. So
Absolutely.
Is it 2 opportunities that the nonprofits have per year, and how do they hear about it or find out about those opportunities to apply?
Absolutely. Any nonprofit that is interested in applying for a grant, we have 2 cycles. One is around December that kicks off because our program year runs October to September. So around December and then again in June, you can visit our website at richmondkiwanis.com, and that grant application will be on the website. You can also feel free to reach out to myself or any of our club members or officers. We have a really great active board and membership right now. We have about 85 members in our community that are Kiwanians. And then we have a pretty large board of directors. We have 8 board members. We have 6 officers and then a board chair too. So lots of community members. You'll maybe see them wearing a pin or something that says Kiwanis. We meet on Fridays at the Elks Club right now. So you might see people in branded hats or logo wear on Fridays, and they're all coming out to the Elks at noon to hear any one of our speakers that we have every single week. So they can drop by the Elks anytime to learn more, or contact myself or any of our community, our board members or Kiwanians to get more information about grants.
Okay, that's good to know. And if people are interested in engaging with you guys, either volunteering or maybe even interested in becoming a Kiwanian themselves, would the Richmond Kiwanis website be the best place for them to find that information, in case they don't know a Kiwanian to reach out to directly?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's lots of information about our membership on our website. We do have a Facebook page as well. So if you want to go to our Facebook page, it's just Richmond Kiwanis, at Richmond Kiwanis on Facebook. We do have a Twitter account. It's the same, at Richmond Kiwanis. So they do post some pictures from our meetings, but the best way is to just reach out through one of those either social media or our website, and they can get more information about visiting. We always invite guests to every meeting that we have, just so you can come and check us out and learn about what we do. We do a little bit of business and talk about what we do, but then we do a lot of celebrating. We just started meeting back in person. We've been on Zoom for about 6 months now, and we do have a hybrid meeting now. You can log in on Zoom. Our Zoom link is on our Facebook page as well too, just to learn about what we do or hear one of our speakers. And then you can find out more about membership and how to join, and certainly volunteering. That's a big part of Kiwanis is volunteering in the community, and some of the projects that we do Salvation Bell ringing every Christmas. We do a state hospital Christmas party. We help with other events in the community. So there's certainly lots of opportunities to volunteer.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you for sharing all of those with our audience today. Tell me a little bit about you mentioned, the number of board seats and officers and things like that. How is the local Kiwanis governed? And is there a staff, or how does that work?
We only have one kind of paid position, and that is our secretary position. Kiwanis is all volunteer based. So our board of directors and then our officers oversee our committees. We have several committees, anywhere from a program committee to a communications committee to a membership committee. And then our officers, the president's position, the vice president's position, and the president-elect's position oversee areas for the club. So example, the president's position oversees our community service area. Our president-elect oversees fundraising and all of our fundraising efforts, including our auction and our calendar sales and any other fundraising that we do. And then our vice president oversees all of our administrative functions. So greeters that we have at meetings or anything that happens behind the scenes, they actually get all of our committee chairs or co-chairs and work on all those things. So that's kind of how we're governed. And then the different committees are made up of community members or Kiwanis members, and they serve on all of our committees. And they really do all of our planning for our events and for our meetings. An example, our program committee works very, very hard at securing speakers for every meeting every Friday.
Yes, I've had the fortune of being a part of Kiwanis and attending those noon lunch meetings, and you all do get some really amazing speakers. I've learned so much about some of the businesses in our community and what they do, the history of them. Some of them are generational and have been here for a long time, all very interesting. So as somebody who's firsthand gotten to experience that, I would highly recommend it to the audience if you do have an opportunity to be a guest or join in, just to get to know a little bit about Kiwanis. That they are a very interesting speakers, so it's great to hear that. So you did mention a bit about that you guys have in terms of how do you guys get your funding for all the work you do? You mentioned fundraising, so you've got some fundraising opportunities. Is it all donor driven? Do you do grants? Is it all private? How do you guys get all the funds to do the work you do?
All of the above.
So cast the widest net.
That's right. We diversify.
Yes.
We do actually get some funding from Kiwanis International. They have a grant process for different projects and things that they support. So we do apply for grants through Kiwanis International. We do have some corporate sponsorships and business sponsorships, and those things are for our Kiwanagram. So that is our monthly newsletter that goes out. We have some advertising that businesses can advertise on that Kiwanagram, or even our weekly program brochure that we put out at every meeting. There's some advertising opportunities there. We do a fundraiser called a Kiwanis Calendar, and you'll have people sell calendars for the year, and we have some advertising in that. So we reach out to businesses, individuals, corporations for that advertising. And then what those calendars are is every day of the year we do a drawing, and we draw a name from who we've sold the calendar to, and they win money throughout the year, every single day of the year, 365 days a year. So we have sponsorships to raise money that way. We also have individual giving. The Kiwanians give. They buy things like Kiwanis bucks at our auction, but we also do fun things during our meetings like Happy Bucks. I know you've participated in the Happy Bucks. So
yes.
Every Friday we go around to anybody that's with us and say, what are you happy about? And people that are happy or just want to praise their grandchildren or say the sunshine is beautiful today, or I'm celebrating a birthday. They donate $1 or $5. Even people that are just happy to hear the speakers or see some of their friends that they might not have been able to see. So individuals contribute in those ways too. So we really do look for diversity in our funding, and that is because the more money we can raise, we can give out to those in the community. We talked about our fundraisers. We also participate in the In Concert series. When those were happening, I think they're postponed right now, but we get a lot of funding from the In Concert series and then turn around and give that money right back out to those grant recipients when we do our grant process. We're actually honoring the RHS Top 10 academic students at a meeting in April, and those students will be awarded an award. And we have a scholarship process too. We usually give out 2 to 3 academic scholarships throughout the year from Kiwanis to help further the education of some of our great, outstanding students in the community.
Well, this community is very fortunate to have a Kiwanis here and have been here for so long and doing the work that you guys are doing, and the nonprofits that support the education for the kids and the work to help them, as well as the kiddos that are getting to reap the benefits of that and the scholarships. It's just so wonderful. So I think we're a very fortunate community to have a Kiwanis in here. So as we wrap up today, Jennifer, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about Kiwanis and sharing all of the great work in the community that you guys do. So we thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And everyone is welcome to join our Kiwanis Club or even just come as a guest and learn more about us. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Stay well and see you next time on The Third Sector.